here.
Refugees are welcome here.
Say it now, say it clear.
Refugees are welcome here.
As a representative of Muslim in the Oxford and Oxfordshire, I would like to greet you with the Islamic greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. May peace and blessing of Almighty God be upon you all. There's a couple of words I would like to say. Racism, my brothers and sisters, racism growing fast and across the country and across the world. It will bring nothing except hatred and division. We all must stop, of any cost, a peaceful way to stop the racism. We must unite. We must unite against any racism. Islamophobia. Islamophobia is a kind of racism that makes the Muslim degraded and miserable. Makes the Muslim degraded and miserable. Anti-Semitism is a kind of racism that put the fear to the heart of the Jewish brothers and sisters. Racism has no place in our society or across the world. We are all human beings and there is no difference between the people, no matter if white, black, rich or poor. We all equal and brothers in humanity. If we stand together, united as one, we will eradicate any kind of racism and we will bring peace and friendship to all. God bless you all and thank you very much.
The significance of the Stansted action in March 2017 is that it stopped a key part of government policy in its tracks, even if only for a while. It so opened the way to further such effective actions for migrant rights in the shape of end deportations, against climate change in the shape of plain stupid, and for gay and lesbian rights in the shape of gays and lesbians support the migrants. A very powerful alliance that sets a great example. This is the reason for the strong-arm response by the government. They recognise that the action poses not only a threat to its anti-migrant policies, it poses a threat to government immunity to united action. There is considerable pressure on the government following the guilty verdict. Within 24 hours, 1,500 people demonstrated outside the Home Office in a very powerful demonstration. And within 36 hours, 350 people sent a letter to the Guardian newspaper calling for the verdict to be overturned. Woo. Today, this is one of 20 or 30 such actions, but of course, we don't necessarily represent a majority of the population. So the legal course is going to be important, but the sentences will be pronounced in the week beginning the 4th of February. So we need to be in Chelmsford to support the accused then. The accused, I would say, among whom is my daughter May, of whom I'm very proud. There's one other thing I want to say. The international dimension of this issue is important. Fortress Europe elicits solidarity with refugees and other migrants across the continent. Government responses to criminalise actions in solidarity with migrants must be defeated. That is why, for example, it is important to support the Briançon 7 near the Italian-French border, who were recently handed prison sentences, suspended in 5 cases, for assisting migrants at risk to cross a dangerous border in the mountains. You can send them messages of support to the website of the organisation ANAFE, A-N-A-F-E. Well away from the runways in Stansted Airport on the 28th, I think, of March 2017. This is one of the people who was going to be put on that plane, and these are her words. My ex-husband says he knows I'm being deported. He's waiting for me. that would be in Nigeria. He is planning to kill me. If he kills me, who will look after my children? Both my parents are in the UK. They are British, but they, the Home Office, want to deport me back to the place where I don't have anybody. Nobody here are crying. We are crying. Please, we need to be rescued. Please, can anybody help us? My doctor confirmed that I wasn't fit to fly, and was not fit to be detained here. And the Home Office wouldn't do anything about it. They didn't reply, and they still want to force me to back home.
Say it loud, say it clear!
Refugees are welcome here!
Say it loud, say it clear!
Refugees are welcome here!
Say it loud, say it clear!
Refugees are welcome here!
Say it loud, say it clear!
Refugees are welcome here!
Say it loud, say it clear!
Refugees are welcome here!
I just wanted to say something. I'm getting a bit of reflected glory because I'm May's mother. But I just would like to say, if anyone here has not signed the petition, which has now reached 52,000 signatures, please do sign it. And thanks very much, everybody, for being so supportive. I do think that I spent the last couple of months being at the trial, and I was astonished at the way that the prosecution somehow managed to weave straw into gold with a case that really hadn't got any substance at all. And I don't think that they'd have succeeded if they hadn't had the help of the judge. My observation. So I think it's terribly important that this precedent isn't allowed to stand, that this legislation can be used in this way to stop civil protest. And this is Joe McGowan, who's one of the defendants.
Good man, good man, good man.
Yeah, so I think one thing that stuck with me through this whole trial process is these people may be evil, but also unfortunately they're fucking stupid. And what they failed to realise is the harder they stamp down, the more ripples it creates. And these are the ripples that are spreading out from that action now. They could have just tried to sweep this under the carpet, sweep what they're doing under the carpet, which any right-minded person knows is wrong. But instead they've created this huge scene around it, and their actions are being drawn to light. And there's demos everywhere, all around the country today. There's 50,000 people signing petitions, there's articles in every sentient newspaper about how wrong this is. So that's what they've created. And actually, if we're strong, and when they stamp down on us, it doesn't actually break us and it doesn't crush us, then go for it, stamp harder, keep stamping, because the ripples of love will flow out from that, and that's why we're here today. And the more we can share that message, and the more we can draw a light to what is actually going on, like the more that we're defeating their own twisted kind of logic. And yeah, just to say, because of what we did, and because of the scrutiny that the Home Office and the state are now under around this practice, this happens from military air bases now, which is much more expensive, much more covert. But it's like, let's draw attention to that and say, like, this doesn't stop here. This is the beginning of something. This isn't the end. And you know, no matter what they do to us, the consequences are not anywhere comparable to what would happen to what happens every single day at the hands of the Home Office. People on that flight that are self-identified, publicly identified as being gay, it's an offence in Nigeria which carries a sentence of 14 years to be gay in Nigeria. So that's what we're paying our taxes for, is to commit people to a situation which the Home Office's own guidance says this is inhumane, this poses a serious risk to life, this violates people's human rights to put them in that situation, and yet they're expecting us to pay for them to do that. And like, you know, the time has come now for us to say no, and we are saying no, and like, let's keep saying no louder and louder until they literally can't hear their own thoughts for the deafening cacophony.
People rise
bloody country. People rise up.
From Nigeria to the UK.
People rise up.
From Nigeria to the UK.
People rise up.
From Asia to the UK.
People rise up.
From Asia to the UK.
People rise up.
From the US to the UK.
People rise up.
From the US to the UK.
People rise up.
From Australia to the UK.
People rise up.
From the Australia to the UK.
People rise up.
It's almost impossible to fathom having to leave your home and loved ones to escape persecution, famine or war. Many refugees have had to make the dangerous journey in order to avoid death or enslavement. The ones who make it out alive then have to survive in those horrendous conditions imaginable. Instead of providing food, aid and shelter, these individuals are then met with hostility, xenophobia and violence. It is not a crime to seek asylum, yet we treat these individuals as if they are criminals who deserve punishment. We have a responsibility to displaced individuals to provide a sanctuary. The illegal deportation of refugees is inhumane. The asylum seekers at Stansted were fleeing threats of violence and death. Our government willingly deported these individuals to unsafe places, knowing that it might result in their deaths. Several of the refugees were victims of human trafficking. To say that Stansted 15 are guilty of this shows how morally bankrupt the government has become. The violence and neglect of refugees at the hands of our government should be criminal and not the acts of those brave individuals at Stansted.
Excellent, excellent.
Stansted 15, let them go. Stansted 15, let them go. Stansted 15, let them go. All right now. Stansted 15, let them go. Stansted 15, let them go. Stansted 15, let them go. Go right now.
Say it loud, say it clear.
Refugees are welcome here.
Say it loud, say it clear.
Refugees are welcome here.
Hello everyone, I just want to say a few words to say thanks to everyone for coming. I was one of the people who initiated tonight, and it's brilliant that all these organisations came together. I'm from Stand Up to Racism, we've got Close Campsfield Campaign, we've got Oxford Refugee Solidarity, we've got Oxford Momentum. Have I forgotten someone? I'm sure there are others as well.
Muslims, Muslim community.
Yeah, I just said that one. Yeah, okay, Muslim community. Yeah, Wantage CLP. Absolutely fantastic groups came together. I think I agree with what people have been saying about the need to rise up. I think we need to look at Europe at the moment and look at the challenges where governments are being forced back. The yellow vests in France, the challenges against Orban, an absolute bloody racist. And we have to say, we have to call our government out. This is about racism. This is about saying that the social problems in society are down to migrants and refugees and not Tory austerity and a broken capitalist system that's trying to make us pay. So we need to tar it for what it is racism.